Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome to the video. I hope your day is going great. Mine's been insane. There has been so many leaks and announcements going on today, guys. First, we are starting off with the London Spitfire. We finally have some leaks coming out on them. They have signed two new players. One's name is Guard. He comes from Element Mystic. He's a DPS. The second, his name is Crillon, and this is an interesting pickup, guys. The highest level of play that Crillon has competed in Overwatch is Contenders Korea's Trials. So this guy literally has little to no experience, and London Spitfire, the Overwatch League champions, just signed this guy. Incredible for him. Crazy pickup. We're going to discuss who he is, who Guard is, how good they're going to be for London Spitfire. Then moving on, we are talking about the Dallas Fuel once again. So as most of you guys do know, I did leak yesterday in my video that Closer from the London Spitfire support player will be moving on to play with the Dallas Fuel in Season 2. Well, guess what, guys? It was officially announced today. Another one from my track record. With Closer joining the Dallas Fuel, they now have an 8-man roster, and it is interesting because this is the lowest amount of players you can have going into Season 2, and it is possible that the Fuel could end up with only these 8 players. We're going to talk about them, how much of an impact Closer has, and if Dallas Fuel should pick up some other players. Because I know a lot of us are expecting them to get an off-tank or even a projectile player because, well, that's the holes in their team right now, and it would make sense for them to get those players. But as time goes on, the best players that are free agents are getting signed, so it's not like Dallas Fuel really has a lot of players to pick from. There is speculation right now, though, that RCK, former Giganti off-tank, is going to be joining the Dallas Fuel. I've heard it from a lot of players. He has been involved in Dallas's scrims recently. I cannot confirm it 100% yet because I'm still waiting on my super reliable sources to confirm it, but it is definitely something going around, and I think it's a good idea to sign an off-tank. I don't think Mickey will cut it. We're going to talk more about this whole situation in the Dallas Fuel moving on. Then moving on, guys, we are going to be discussing Boston Uprising because they have signed a new player, and it's going to be Blase from the LA Gladiators Legion team. He is a DPS player, and he's not the only one who is joining the Boston Uprising, guys, as well as Colorhex, a New Zealand player, has been signed to the Boston Uprising, the first New Zealand player in all of Overwatch League. We have Custa, who's the only Australian. Well, we have a New Zealand player now, and it seems like these two players are going to be taking over the duties that Mistakes and Dreamcasper left on this team last season. We're going to talk about what they can bring to the Boston Uprising, if these were good pickups, where they come from, and more. Then the last signing, guys, we are talking about a player joining Washington, D.C. It's going to be an off-tank, and his name is Sam. He comes from Meta Athena. He competed in Korea Contenders. So yeah, as you guys can tell, there was a ton of signings, a ton of announcements today. I can't wait to get into it. If you guys are new around here, do not forget, drop a like on the channel, click that red subscription box, join the family if you want to stay updated on anything and everything Overwatch League news. This is your #1 source, boys. And now, without further ado, let's go ahead and hop into it and talk about the London Spitfire's new signings. And by the way, I know some of you guys are going to say, oh, what a long intro, 3 minutes. This intro is actually really good for a lot of you people who just want to get in here and get the news. I gave you all the information, who got signed where. Now for all the people who want to learn about where these guys come from, how good they are, do I think they will provide a lot for the team they joined, and how good that team will be with them next season. So, moving on into the London Spitfire, let's talk about the two new players they just signed. Starting off with the first player, his name is Guard, and he used to play for Element Mystic and Contenders Korea. And I'm sure a lot of you guys know who Element Mystic is by now. I've leaked a lot of their players joining the Overwatch League. We got Pokpo and Dako both joining over to Atlanta. We have Guard, he's joining the London Spitfire. He's a DPS player, and he's mostly known for playing Sombra. Of course, he's flexible and he can touch a lot of different heroes, but definitely in Korea, he had a lot of hype around him just because of his Sombra, and it is great. I've seen it personally. The guy is solid on Sombra. Moving on to the history of Element Mystic, since I have gone over it a few times in my videos, I think most of you know them by now, but for those who don't, Element Mystic came on the rise in Contenders Korea Season 1, where they went all the way to the quarterfinals and lost to O2 Ardent 2-3. Now, O2 Ardent did go all the way to the finals in that season. They did lose to X6 Gaming, but the fact that Element Mystic almost beat them, barely losing 2-3, means that they were a solid team that season, maybe top 4, maybe top 3. Moving on into the second season, they made it even further this time, getting 3rd through 4th. In the semifinals, they lost to Runaway 1-3, who eventually went on and won the entire season. So big accomplishments there for guard. The fact that he can perform at a high level in Contenders Korea definitely means he is a good player, and I think he's going to be a great backup for Birdring and Profit. We saw in Season 1, the London Spitfire, they really struggled when Birdring hurt his wrist, and they had to bring in Hureg, and honestly, Hureg didn't perform that great. He started doing decent near the end on Widowmaker, but like they needed a more flexible guy who can play more heroes. And honestly, maybe even guard can come in more than just like a sub. If he does prove to be an incredible player, he could start with Profit or with Birdring. So we'll just have to see what he brings to the table, but this is a solid pickup, especially for a substitute. London, they got a good player. Moving on to the second player that London Spitfire signed, we have Crillon. And I mentioned earlier that this guy has not competed at a high level at all. The highest he competed in was Contenders Korea Trials, and he didn't even make it past Trials. The London Spitfire, they see something in this guy. They think he is going to be a great backup support player, especially since they just lost Closer. It makes sense to get this guy. He is very young, very inexperienced. Honestly, it's just a random pickup. I did not see this coming. When my sources told me, I was like, really? Are you serious about this? And they said yes, so I 100% believe them because my sources have not been wrong yet. And those are going to be the two new players for London Spitfire going into Season 2. And this also puts their roster at 8 players. It's going to be interesting seeing if they sign more guys. I expect them maybe to, but it makes sense if they don't because they cut a lot of players last season in favor of having a smaller roster and just focusing on a starting 6, and it won them the championship. So I see no reason why they would want to change that. I expect them to possibly lock in at 8. But that's going to be it for London Spitfire, guys. Let's go ahead and move on to the Dallas Fuel. They posted this on Twitter. Please welcome Closer to the team as he joins us from the London Spitfire. We are excited to have him join the Fuel and help close out more games during the 2019 season. #BurnBlue. And of course, they left a little video down here, which I really loved. I hope a lot of the Overwatch League teams do this. Let's go ahead and roll it.
Hey everyone, Coach Arrow here. I'm extremely excited to get this opportunity to announce our new support player, Closer. The first time Closer played with the team, I knew that he'd be a perfect fit. He's extremely smart, talented individual, and he's going to do great with us.
That was absolutely sick. I loved how they put Arrow in the beginning. He said, as soon as I saw Closer, I knew he'd be a perfect fit. And then all the sick highlights. Closer is a beast. Guys, he's a world champion. I said it yesterday, but I don't think a lot of people understand that. There was an argument whether Harry Hook or Closer will start. It's pretty obvious to me, guys. Closer is going to start for this team. I'm not taking anything away from Harry Hook. He's a good player. He's had a really long, great career, and he's going to be a very solid substitute for this team and can definitely help when it comes to player coaching. But again, I mean, everybody knows I'm a London Spitfire fan. Closer, he performed great for them. I see no reason why he wouldn't be the starter. And then now let's move on to the next player, which is RCK, who was rumored by Halo of Thoughts. Not even rumored. He said sources on a tweet that RCK was going to sign with the Paris Overwatch League team. But I'm hearing completely different stuff. Let's go ahead and take a look at this tweet I posted earlier today. Speculation of RCK to Dallas Fuel could be accurate. I'm hearing from players around the league that he might be joining. He has been involved in their scrims, nothing I can confirm from a really reliable source yet, but this conflicts with Halo of Thoughts, report RCK to Paris. So as I said, guys, it seems very likely that RCK is going to be signed to the Dallas Fuel. I see no reason why it won't happen unless my source denies it, but I've been getting a lot of information that he is going to be joining them, so I expect it to happen. We'll just have to wait for one of my reliable sources. He is a pretty good off-tank. He competed for Giganti in Season 2 and Season 1 of Contenders Europe, and in the second season, he got 3rd place, losing to Eagle Gaming 1-3, who went on to win Season 2, and then in the first season, he got 2nd place, losing to British Hurricane 3-4 in the grand finals. So the guy has came very, very close 2 times to winning the championship in Europe. I do think this is an upgrade over Mickey, but I don't know if it's better than some of the other players they could have gotten. It would have been nice if they could have got a hold of somebody like Dako from Element Mystic, but that was unreasonably possible because, of course, all the expansion teams were sending him offers, and for Dako to wait and pass us up in order to see if Dallas wanted him would have been a little risky for him. And the same thing for a lot of the premier off-tanks during the signing window for the expansion teams. It was really hard for them to deny offers, and I said this from the beginning, Dallas Fuel might run into trouble signing an off-tank or projectile player, just because a lot of them are going to be signed before they can offer. So I can see why they went for RCK, and I'm not saying RCK isn't good or anything. The guy has the experience. He played well for Gigante. It's just not like an all-star, and I really wanted to see the Dallas Fuel pick up an all-star. But that is going to be it for Dallas, guys. They have officially signed Closer. It's a great pickup. I think he'll start over Harry Hook. As for RCK, I will confirm it for you guys very soon. And now let's go ahead and move on and talk about the new Boston Uprising players. First, we have Color Hex, who is from New Zealand. And I know a lot of you guys will not know at all who this guy is, other than the fact that he did win Australian contenders or Oceanic contenders. And he pretty much mauled and rolled all over the competition. He seemed pretty good going up against Australians, but he hasn't really had much real experience competing against international talent. So it's hard to say how good he will actually be. But in the Boston Uprising case, they were really good at picking up hidden gems in Season 1. Look at Striker, look at Note, look at Gamsu, look at Dreamcasper. So the probability of this guy being really good seems really high since Boston Uprising did go for him and they're good at picking up gens. So I'll leave it at that, and then moving on to the second player they signed is going to be Blase from the LA Gladiators Legion. Now Blase is a pretty solid DPS player. He competed for the LA Gladiators Legion, who made the playoffs 2 seasons in a row in North American contenders, so he has solid experience. I think this is as well another good pickup. I do have a feeling that Color Hex is going to start over him. We'll just have to see. But that's going to be it for the Boston Uprising pickups. Let's go ahead and move on now and talk about Washington DC's latest pickup. We have Sansam. He is an off tank, and this is going to cap their roster at 8 players, and this is going to be all the players they're picking up. Let's go ahead and take a look at a tweet I put out earlier about this guy. Sources: Washington DC Overwatch League team has signed off tank player Sansam from Meta Athena. This looks to be their last pickup going into Season 2 with an 8-man roster. And that full roster is going to be Janice, Corey, Addo, Stratus, Phozix, Hyunu, Guido, and lastly Sansam. Now, they've decided to only stick with 8 players, which is very interesting. I think this is a Boston Uprising or Florida Mayhem situation. They'll either be really good, a bunch of hidden gems, or they're going to be Florida Mayhem and just crash and burn. I do like some of their pieces. I think Janice is solid, Addo's great, Phozix is good, Hyunu is good, Guido, he could be a gem, Corey might pop off, Stratus might pop off, Sansam, he could pop off. Like, you never know. They have Wizard Young as a coach. The typical genius. He could bring it all together. We're just going to have to wait and see. But that's going to be the video, guys. All the leaks, all the juice for today. Let me know down below what your favorite part was. If you enjoyed it, be sure to drop a like. And, of course, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already to stay updated on anything and everything Overwatch League news. I'm out of here, guys. Peace.